Welcome back from the break. You're watching Newsx and I'm Misavri Jindal. Disturbing details and triggering visuals from the Dowry death case in Uttar Pradesh's Greater Noida have sparked massive outrage, with growing calls for justice for 28-year-old Nikki Bhati, who was allegedly set ablaze by her husband and in-laws on August 24th. Four people: Nikki Bhati's husband, mother-in-law, father-in-law and brother-in-law, who was married to her own sister, have been arrested so far in connection with the case. According to police, Vipin Bhati, Nikki Bhati's 28-year-old husband, set her ablaze allegedly over an altercation on her desire to post reels on social media and reopen a beauty parlor she used to run. In fact, joining us at this point in time is Ms. Brinda Adige, activist. Ma'am, thank you so much for your time speaking to us on Newsx. Unfortunately, we are talking about a chilling case of a woman who wanted to be independent, who was independent. She was set ablaze by her husband, her in-laws, and it was also videotaped. What do you make of this incident, ma'am?
Like we have been discussing over the last 3 days, this is one of the few cases where there is some kind of a videotape and some evidence that the police can actually look into and place it before the court. Usually there are no evidence because this happens either inside the bedroom or in their homes where nobody is recording any of these things. Who records fights and arguments between husband and wife or within the family members? Nobody. Everybody is very busy fighting over there that there's nobody recording. But over here, we also hear from the sister Kanchan that it was happening since 2016 when they got married, and all the time the harassment, the brutality, the torture was always to bring more money. And then we also got to know from your channel that the brothers, because the two sisters are married to the two brothers, they have no job, they don't work. So their entire survival or the entire family's survival has been with the money that has been given by the brides, both the brides, their wives. And after a point when their parents could not give any more money, probably the women said that, okay, let us start some kind of a shop so that we can earn our own livelihood. And why not? Because my constitution and all the policies and laws of my country allow any woman to work and do any kind of business. And the two of them, probably that is their forte. They are good at doing the beauty parlor and the boutique, and they started. And even for that, the money was given by the father. That is the father-in-law of the accused.
But
now,
absolutely,
they did not want the women to do reels. They didn't want the women to work, but they want the money that is being earned by the women. What kind of monsters are this entire family?
Absolutely. Of course, you've spoken about the fact that these, arguments between husband and wife, they're not usually recorded. But in this man's case, Vipin Bhati, he's also gone on to say that he has absolutely no remorse and it happened. What do you make of that entire situation and the statement that he's giving? We're unfortunately living in a modern day where there still are regressive perceptions.
Regressive patriarchal perceptions, practices, mindset, to a large extent are socially sanctioned. The panchayat has intervened many times, and the panchayat, being a legal body, should have actually told them to go to the police, go to the court and register a case. Instead, what the panchayat did, probably the Khap panchayat, is we are the only authority and we will tell you what to do. And as women, this is how you must be. Now, this fellow has no remorse. You have said because the family has brought him up like that, saying that whoever you marry, they are going to be our insurance. Like Mrs. Kiran Bedi mentioned over there, the woman that you marry is our insurance for life, and we will fleece the girl's family for dowry for the rest of their lives. Then in between, the mother-in-law and the father-in-law and other members of the family would have also added to say, don't worry, she can be killed and we will marry again. Because that is a practice that has been happening again and again, and the courts have not taken cognizance of this. This is a crime. Dowry,
Right.
harassment, murder and death is a crime, but the courts have not taken cognizance of it. So the state is also abetting dowry death, dowry harassment and dowry murders.
Absolutely. Brindaji, I request you to stay on with us. We, in fact, have Mr. Vikram Singh, former DGP of Uttar Pradesh, also joining us on the broadcast. So thank you so much for your time speaking to us on Newsx. In the past, between 2017 and 2022, Uttar Pradesh had at least 11,874 such cases of dowry deaths. One such example also in front of us, a very chilling one, a very shocking one. What do you make of it, sir?
The incident that you are referring to of Greater Noida is one of the most grisly and the most scary incidents I have encountered, not in the last 5 years, but in my career of 36 years. And the shameless manner in which the husband of the deceased says that these things do happen between husband and wife, the brazen manner in which they demanded and got their pound of flesh in the form of a top and Scorpio car, grams of gold, and yet a demand of a bullet motorcycle which they got, and also another 36 lakhs again. The shameless manner in which they say that he was not there on the spot, in spite of the incontrovertible evidence of his own son, who said that his mother was set on fire. Number two, also that there is CCTV, there is a video footage also. What more can be more clinching and convincing than the evidence that the police already has? My advice to the police would be to take it as a test case. It is a challenge to the authority of the state and also to the investigators, that they all should be punished, their property attached, put in the fast track court, and ensure that they're convicted in 30 working days. Otherwise, the message that will go is that such brazen Khap Panchayat followers will get away with murder, literally and metaphorically.
Right, absolutely. So I also want to understand from you the fact that this entire ordeal was videotaped. The man went on to also say that he has absolutely no remorse for what happened. What does that say about the mentality, not just of the husband, but of the in-laws who also played a role in torturing that girl? She was dragged by the hair, from what we understand. There are videos of her on fire, walking down the staircase. What does that say about the mentality of this family?
First things first, the shameless manner in which the deceased husband says that he has no remorse, and then he says that it's something that is routine between husband and wife, number one. Number two, that the audacity with which he went on demanding dowry, and then I'm given to understand that he wanted a Mercedes car too. The in-laws also continued to feed him and giving him to his illegitimate and immoral and illegal demands. Also married off 2 daughters in the same family, knowing fully well that they are sharks and they are greedy people. And to top it all, there was a panchayat. What has panchayat got to do? There is no legal and moral compulsion for the Khap Panchayat to intervene in legal and personal matters. It is an established fact of law. But you very rightly mentioned that I would have been very satisfied, my condolences with the deceased family and the in-laws. But I would also say that you should have ensured that you did run the extra mile, establishing a daughter, making her independent. But it is not for anyone to tell that you will not work. If you work, you will not give a part of your earning to your mother. Nobody has a right to tell and guide the child. And the deceased was earning on her own. She did not ask any money from her husband or her in-laws. Therefore, I think everything was horribly wrong, and the very foundation of this wedding was absolutely on terrible lines.
Right, absolutely. So I also want to understand from you, of course, you've touched upon the fact that both the brothers, not just one, but both the brothers were jobless. They didn't have a job. They were living off of what the wife was making, the money that she was making through the parlor. They were also asking for rupees 36 lakhs on top of a Scorpio that they had already taken from the family of the victim. What role does that joblessness play as far as this entire ordeal is concerned?
Joblessness has nothing to do with that. It is the element of greed. Any upright person, he would rather starve than make such an illegitimate and an immoral demand of his in-laws and his wife. And the manner in which, the brazen manner and the chauvinistic manner in which he said, you go to the parlor, you make the Instagram reels, what has that got? That was an absolutely honorable and a legitimate task that the deceased and her sister were performing. And to top it all, the man could do no wrong, as if it was some the lord and master of the house, he would dictate terms of the domesticity. That does not work, and I think everything was horribly wrong, and demanding 36 lakhs was not without joblessness. I think both the families are well appointed. They have abundant agricultural wealth, and therefore the cash crunch wasn't there. But to be jobless is one thing, and in spite of that, keep on demanding money is entirely another.
Right, absolutely. So with that, I'd like to thank you for joining us on the broadcast, sharing our perspectives with us on Newsx.
For more such videos, subscribe to the Newsx YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.